Good morning, everybody. Letter Ridge Homestead here. I'm going to bring you along this morning for some morning chores. First thing out was the goose. This is our new guard goose. This is our new guard goose, Tipper, and she's half Emden and half Toulouse. And it's hard to tell on the camera, but this eye is her right eye is blue and her left eye is brown, which we just noticed the other day. It's kind of funny. But she is our little guard goose. And these little crazy birds we refer to as her crew. She's been with them since they were all chicks. So we've got one little dark Cornish hen, a dark Cornish rooster, and a little mixed breed rooster over here. He looks Dominique, but he's not entirely because he has a straight comb. But that's the goose and her crew. Now it's time to let the chickens out of the double wide. Contents. These are our egg chickens. It's a little like a clown car. They just keep coming. There's still a couple more in there. Goose has to show everybody who's the boss. This is pretty much my broody coop, and my rooster stays in here too. I've noticed that if I leave the hens in here for the first couple of weeks with their babies, that the rooster actually helps take care of these babies. Now, this hen right there sat on some eggs, and out of her eggs she hatched one turkey. Well, it's not worth my time and effort to have a hen raise one turkey. So I basically stole her baby the first day it was hatched. But I'm not without heart. So I gave her 4 Tractor Supply chicks, and she has, of course you slip them in at night when they're asleep underneath the hen while she's still on the nest, and pretty much she'll take them. I haven't had too much trouble with hens. If you can do it in the night, I haven't had too much trouble with hens rejecting the babies if they're already broody. But these little chicks are blue-laced red Wyandotte pullets. So now she's raising me something that'll be added to my egg flock. And the turkey that I'm probably going to... Whoop! Stamp on him! The turkey that I'm probably going to eat, I just went ahead and I put him in a brooder with the other turkeys, and he's going to be fine. This is the best rooster. If you watch him, he will feed the chicks, and sometimes I'll see him and he'll be sitting on the ground, and baby chicks will be climbing all over him, and he'll have them under his wings, and he's talking to them. He is just the best rooster. The reason he stays in there, however, for the most part. And like I said, I let him out every evening for a while. But the reason he mostly stays in this pen is because he's such a good rooster that he does protect his hens even from us. And when my grandson is in the yard playing, I don't like to have him being chased by a rooster, so he just stays in there and he's pretty content, and then he gets out of an evening after my grandson goes home for the night, so it works out for everybody. The rooster's name is Dandy, and he is a dandy. And I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, you are. But these girls will come in, they'll have a little bit of scratch grain, and then they spend most of their day out looking for bugs and grass and weed seeds and just free choice. With the goose there, and the goose's job is to protect them from aerial predators. Our backyard is too open. We don't have enough cover for chickens to protect them from aerial predators, and I have a tremendous amount of hawks in this area. I don't know if you can see this little chicken over here in the weeds. See him now? We have 4 chicks. We have 4 little chicks this size. And they're broody raised. That's a little Dominique. It's broody raised. And Mama has decided that he's old enough to be on his own. And they are out free ranging with the rest of them. They go to bed in the coop every night with the rest of the chickens. And I want to tell you, you cannot catch them. They are the fastest, wildest things you've ever seen in your lives. So, and they're small enough that they can run in and out and through all the fences. And they're very efficient. So that's what you get when you get a broody raised chick. Here's the garden. It's starting to do something. The flowers there you see are potatoes, and that indicates as these are dying down that it's about time to harvest my first crop, which is Irish potatoes. We have some Swiss chard growing pretty good there. We have Beets back here, carrots here, and we have weeds. So it's not perfect, but it's coming along. There's a couple of tomatoes in this pot, but they need to be rearranged significantly. Now for the next job. As you can see, we have a trail of destruction. And the trail of destruction leads to my meaty coop. And there are 30, and they're all right here at the front, right here looking at you. 30 meaties in here. They are waiting for breakfast and for the move of the day. I'm going to sit this camera so you guys can watch me make the move. And you'll notice that right there is a fence charger, and that's the first thing to come off. When they get to where they can clean up the clover in their area, they get moved. So they're on fresh clover twice. And I have a little container that has grit. It is very important if you have pasture birds to have grit for them, because it takes a lot to digest the fiber of the grass and clover. It's getting to where it looks like it's starting to be a full coop because of their size growing, and it is, no doubt about it. Also, you might notice there's a turkey in there, and there's one other chick that is not a meaty bird. Well, what will happen, we're getting closer to butcher size, and they'll start just getting, in the next 2 weeks, just doubling in size. I mean, it'll be unbelievable. This is where they really start this fast growth. What will happen is we will have 1 or 2 or up to even probably 4 to 6 that we're just going to grow bigger than the rest of them. These are all pullets, by the way. I like the pullets better. They do grow a little bit slower than the cockerels, and they're a little bit cheaper. And I just like to buy the pullets when I'm buying the Cornish rocks. But anyway, I'll have 1 or 2 to as many as 6 that will be getting a lot bigger, a lot faster. And what I do is I will butcher or harvest or process, whatever word you want to use, I will take those birds out, the biggest birds, and usually they will dress out at about 4 pounds a piece, and they make some nice fryers. And I will take them out first and process those, and what that does is it frees up space for the rest of them. Then I'll let them go another week, and I'll take out, usually the next time it's about 8 will come out. And again, I pick the 8 largest. And then we'll wait another week and so on, and I'll take out 8 more. What that does is it allows the birds to have more space as they get larger. If you tried to have 30 full-size meat birds in this size of a coop, that would not work. It just won't. So you need to realize that I am going to be taking them out and thinning the herd as they get larger. Still, I know this looks like I still have a pile of them, but most of them are in the front up here because they know I'm going to feed them pretty quick. They still have this whole area in the back of the coop back here, and there's actually a perch back there, and some of the more agile ones will sit on the lower perch. The turkey definitely will be perching. The little Dominique that's in there will be perching. And they'll just kind of give you more floor space that way. In this whole group, I have one bird that has leg issues. And that chick has had leg issues since it was just almost right at the beginning. I considered culling him, or I should say her, because they're all girls. I considered culling it, but it is growing, and it seems like it's able to get to the food and get to the water and do what it needs to do. So I've just left it at this point. If it is growing slower than the rest, but you know, if it ever acts like it's in real distress, I will definitely has leg issues. All the rest of them I have not had any problem with, because we move them and they get the fresh greens and stuff, and they're a little bit active, more active than they would be, believe it or not, if you had just a stationary coop. You know, I don't have leg issues as a rule, and I think all the fresh green grass and stuff is really helpful for them. So anyway, that's the meat birds, and the other thing I can say about it is, be glad you don't have smell-o-vision. Meat birds stink. All they do is eat and poop, and as you can see by their path of destruction, they just stink. Way more than regular chickens. And it does not have anything to do with the concentration of them, they just have bigger poos. Okay, next on the morning roster is our boys. And this little guy here in front is our bottle lamb, Jeremy. And then we have his brother, and the big white one is my new little lamb ram. And these guys are basically in this little pen for the day. Our clover is crazy, and I know that's the same a lot of places, but we've just got crazy clover, and there's been so much of it. We've had a little bit of diarrhea in these boys, and so I'm trying to kind of give them a couple of days off of the richness, and I've just been putting them in this little pen here, this little short lot, for the past few days. They are able to get into the front part of the little barn stall for shade, and there's really plenty of grass in here for these three for a day or so. So that's what they're doing. They have been out on, this is the pasture they've been out on, and can you see, it is nothing but clover. It is just ridiculously rich. There's just so much clover there, and it's just too much. So I'm trying to give their little guts a break. We do have some grass in this particular lot, but it is just knee-high clover, or actually it's almost as tall as they are in some spots. In the back there we have our adult sheep. the ram and the 2 adult ewes. The ewes are getting rebred for fall lambs. But these are the little boys. And right now they're segregated from the other lambs because the girls just are not old enough to be bred. And even though Joseph, the white one, is still a ram lamb, believe it or not, he could breed the sheep. So we're trying to be very cautious with that. I just dipped water from our little rain barrel. Gets water off the roof. And when it runs short, we fill it up with a hose. And that's why we water the poultry with out here. And we let the turkeys out. They go out their little door. And they are going to go out this little door in their gate. And this is their little range pen for the day. And that charger that I had around the baby chicks at night, which is this one, gets switched on, and it protects our turkeys by day. So it's a good use of a charger. They're going to come out and look at everything. Of course, the grown-ups see me out here, so they think I might have a handout for them. I do not. This is a good opportunity, though, to see the state of my ewes and why I decided I was going to go ahead and get a second lambing from them this year. They are both just fat and slick and shiny and looking good. Remember, Time, the black one right here, had triplets this spring in February. I think she recovered pretty nicely. Now, you guys can sit there and see the little girls for a bit. So now I got my turkeys coming out here doing a little grazing and bug eating. I have 2 of the broody turkey hens that think that they want to hatch some eggs. And I'm just letting them sit for a while. I don't know if they'll do any good or not, but I'm giving them an opportunity. These toms, great big, but when you're molting you don't look very majestic, do you? Like pretty ratty. And I know all this white clover can cause problems with people with cattle, and the white clover can cause problems with sheep if you don't have them in a good mix. But it grows pretty nice lambs, and the turkeys like it too. Hi, Silk. Hi, Silk.